All right. Let's see here. I don't know why. Every time I go live on Facebook, they like change everything. So it took a little time to get this going. Hello, my sexy girlfriend. So I am Jax West from Justice with Jax, MAM Gossip, and Stephen Avery Project. Gosh, I've got so many pop ups come up everywhere. Oh, there's lots of you here today. Sweet. All right. So I recently watched the 48 Hours episode on the Gabby Petito case. It's a case that I know has been in the news and been tons in my news feed. And I knew of the case. I'm not really deep down in it, like, Stephen Avery or Melissa Kaluzinski cases, for example. But after watching it, I wanted to go on my personal Facebook and rant about a whole bunch of things because I do that a lot. I'm a big time ranter, that I'm going to get up on my soapbox and say some things. And it was going to end up being this big wall of text. And I'm like, all right, forget it. I'm just going to do a live video here on Justice with Jax so I can say a bunch of what I'm thinking about the case, which will be all over the place as I'm totally scatterbrained all the time. And I kept saying to myself before this too that I really should make some bullet points to make sure that I cover everything I wanted to cover. I didn't. I'm never prepared. I go off the cuff on everything. So, you're just going to have to bear with me. And at times I'll notice whatever you're commenting here and respond to that, which will further distract me to see that squirrel. And then I'll forget what I was saying over there. But it's all in fun, right? So before I start really getting into things, so like on my other screen here, I've pulled up a timeline of the case and I'm going to read through that timeline, and that will also help me remember on the things I want to comment on. But something I want to address from the get go before even getting into that is many of you, if you are here because of my involvement in the Stephen Avery case, and you don't follow me personally or know me personally, you may not know my political leanings or anything like that. And I try to keep that stuff separate from all of this because I know we're not all going to agree on those things. But something that I do have to bring up that is a valid concern in the Gabby case is that there are so many people of color that go missing and get murdered, and they do not get the kind of coverage that Gabby's case is getting. And I understand that concern. So let me say that from the get-go, especially the area that Gabby was found, there are a lot of Native American women that are missing, and it doesn't go on the news and nobody talks about it. So I do get that. But then also, on the other hand, I'm not going to fault the Petito family or this case or that this is something that shouldn't be talked about because of people who get ignored. So I see both. And to me, when I get involved in a case or whatever, it's not due to. Sorry, my son's texting me. It's not how they look is what brings me to the case. It's so people in the press need to do better and need to publicize cases of people of color, because I would be just as interested no matter what the person looked like, what their color, what their sexual orientation, um, what their pronoun, whatever the case may be. Literally the case. So, but I had to start this with that because I know, especially in my circles, there's a lot of people that are trying to downplay now this case because of it and almost try to make you feel wrong if you care about this case. So I care about this case. So doesn't he know I'm working? um all right. So I have pulled up the CBS News. Let me copy this link. I haven't read through it. I just Googled Gabby Petito timeline and clicked on the first one. So let me read through the timeline, and then I'll probably, like I said, veer off into different directions as reading this timeline makes me think of things that I wanted to say on my thoughts on this case. All right, so we start with July 2021, New Adventures. Petito and Laundrie leave New York for what was supposed to be a 4-month cross-country trip, visiting and camping in national parks. They plan to sleep in their van and document their travels on Instagram and YouTube. And I had never heard of this whole van life thing until this case. I don't know anything about it. August 12th, 2021. Disorderly conduct stop. A 911 call is placed by someone who reports seeing a confrontation between Gabby and Brian. The caller said he saw Laundrie hit Petito. Police in Moab, Utah are dispatched and pull the van over. It is unclear if they knew the details of the 911 call. Now we know they did know about the 911 call. Police body cam video shows Petito crying and upset. The police report says that Petito hit Laundrie, but no arrests were made. The couple is separated for the night. Laundrie checks into a hotel, and Petito stays in the van. Watch this video. I watched it in its entirety. It's not very long. Back to my activist hat. This is where I wanted to talk about defund the police. Defund the police, that phrase was come up. The Black community is who came up with that phrase. And the rest of us activists are told to just follow that lead. And so they're using this phrase, defund the police, which in my opinion is like the worst way to describe what they were trying to do, because it automatically makes people think you're attacking the police and you want the police to go away. And that's not what defund the police is going for. Now, there are, of course, some people who think, oh, let's just do away with police department. That's an extreme. That's not going to happen. We need law and order. All right. It should be reallocate funding. So when you watch this video, this police body camera, these police officers are not trained in how to deal with this situation. And instead of all this money going into a police department, you need to reallocate funds that somebody who is an expert at abuse, mental illness, spousal abuse, whatever. They needed to be there looking at the situation. Because now my first marriage was very abusive. I started dating him when I was 14 years old. So he was all I knew. while he never physically touched me, I saw so much. It was like, and I know this is a hot button word, and I don't like when people just use this, they overuse this word, but it was very triggering for me when I watched that and I saw a lot of my relationship with my first husband in what happened there, where he is putting all the blame on her. She's crazy, she's this, whatever. And then she doesn't want to upset him. Well, here's me assuming, because we don't know that for a fact. But she's taking all the blame on herself and is clearly upset. And so these officers then just side with the guy like the girl is some crazy. And, so she is lying and making excuses for he's okay, don't do anything to him, because if you do something publicly that's going to affect him, then something's going to happen to her privately. So these cops are not trained in how to deal with that domestic disturbance. People called and reported that they saw him hit her. This isn't a call that came out after this case has gone everywhere of somebody just trying to insert themselves into the case. That's one of those phrases. If you see something, say something. So this person saw Brian abusing Gabby and called the police. But now when the police are on the scene, they're siding with the guy who's just doing she's crazy and she was hitting me, and the girl's saying, oh yeah, I hit him, I was upset. But if you even listen to the stuff she's saying, it doesn't add up. He locks you out of the car, the van, whatever, and then she's hitting him. But it's like, but why did he lock her out of the van? What is going on there? And they didn't look into anything. And then, so they did do we're going to separate them. And the guy gets put in a hotel and she's in the van. And I'm not trying to point the finger and saying, this cop, it's your fault that this girl's now dead. But it just screamed out to me on this whole debate of defund the police on how horrible that description is. But it's still true that it shouldn't be cops that are dealing with a situation like that. They don't know how to deal with it. They are not trained. They are not schooled. They don't know how to deal with the domestic abuse. And I agree with you, Cindy. I'm assuming because the van was in her name. So I think that's why she stayed with the van and he got a hotel room. But still, it's just that video, watching that poor girl and the way the cops treated her really bothered me. And let me make that personal too, because, all about me. But on Saturday, I was at an event and a man got confrontational with me, got in my face. He was this far from me, screaming in my face, saying he was going to kick my smurfing ass. While he's talking, he's spitting in my face. He was calling me names and all this. And he was real close and screaming at me. The cops were called. The cops arrived, separated everybody, told me to stay over here and they would talk to me later. I'm not the only person this guy was verbally assaulting and threatening. The cops never came and talked to me to get my side of it. Only talked to other people. And the end result was the cops said, "Sup, Tamara?" By the guy saying, "I'm going to kick your smurfing ass," and I still held my ground because I didn't move back, and neither did the other person that they threatened that was there with me, we're the instigators because we should have left. The guy threatened us with physical harm and we didn't leave. So therefore, cops aren't doing anything. This just happened to me on Saturday. So cops are needed. There's good and bad cops. But they're not the end all be all of these kinds of situations. So that watching that police body camera footage just really, really bothered me, was triggering me, which, like I said, I don't like because people use that triggering word so much to, where I roll my eyes a lot when I even hear the word triggering or trigger. But it reminded me of my abusive marriage. And then it also, reminds me of what happened on Saturday. And that's not the first time I've had that instance that happened to me. I was assaulted another time and police were called and the police sided with the guy that assaulted me. Let me get back into the timeline. August 19th, van life. Petito and Laundry post a video on YouTube called Van Life, beginning our van life journey. The images show them laughing and kissing. And we all know, again, just because you see something out in public doesn't mean it's a good relationship, especially when you're doing it on camera. August 24, seen in Salt Lake City. Petito and Laundry are reportedly seen leaving a hotel in Salt Lake City. August 25, Gabby's last post. The van is spotted at Grand Teton, is that how you say that, Teton? National Park. This is also the last day a post is made to Petito's Instagram account. August 27, an odd text. According to a search warrant, on August 27, Petito's mother says she receives an odd text from Gabby's phone. It read, quote, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls," unquote. Stan is Gabby's grandfather, but her mother says Gabby never referred to him by his first name. Gabby's mother said it was out of character and concerning. So, was that text from Gabby trying to do something in secret to have her mother go, "Something's wrong here," and reach out? Or was something already done to Gabby at that time and that was the boyfriend, allegedly, since we don't know for sure if he did anything, trying to cover his tracks? August 29, hitchhiking claims. Miranda Baker posts on her TikTok claiming she picked up Brian Laundry, who is hitchhiking alone. August 30, another text. Petito's mom says she receives a text from Gabby's phone. She wouldn't comment on what it said, but according to some reports, it read, quote, "No service in Yosemite," unquote. September 1, Brian returns home. According to police, Laundry returns to Northport, Florida, where he lived with Gabby, but he was alone. September 11, Gabby reported missing. So, from the 1st to the 11th. So, he returns home on the 1st, and she's not reported even missing until the 11th. Gabby's mother files a missing persons report with the Suffolk County, New York Police Department after not hearing from her since late August. Something I wanted to talk about on there, too, is when the mother is trying to report her daughter missing, she was given the runaround on that, where they're like, she's an adult, she can do what she wants, she can go where she wants. So more time lost because police aren't taking it seriously. Now, by September 11th, would that have changed anything for Gabby's life? No. But it's still showing a problem we have here in police not doing their due diligence and not seeming to really care. This is something that should have been looked into. You can't go, she's an adult, and she doesn't have to contact her family if she doesn't want. Because if you look at her messages with her family or whatever, you would see, you know how everything in our system is, you have to have precedence. So there's precedence of her regularly checking in with her family. And now she hasn't in 2 weeks. But let's not rush to anything here. September 14th. Families torn apart. Brian Laundrie's family issues a statement through their lawyer saying that they intend to remain in the background while the search for Gabby is underway. Petito's family issues a statement accusing Laundrie of refusing to tell them where he last saw Gabby. This is another thing I wanted to complain about in this case. Those of you who are here from Stephen Avery Project and following the Stephen Avery case, you know that we are constantly screaming, lawyer up. No matter what you're being accused of. Jaywalking, murder, lawyer up. Don't talk to anybody. Don't talk to the press. Don't talk to the cops, because you don't know what their narrative is and how many people are wrongfully accused and incarcerated because they did not have an attorney with them for looking out for their best interests. So I'm not faulting the family for getting legal representation. But by refusing to talk to the police in any way, shape, or form, and it seems to me that they are covering for their son. Maybe I'm a bad mother, my son texted me while I was on here. Maybe I'm a bad mother. But if this were my son, this case was happening, I would be getting a lawyer. But he's going to tell what happened. I'm not going to help him flee. Even if my son were to say to me, we got into a fight, it was an accident, I pushed her, she fell down, she hit her head, and she died, then you're going to say it was an accident, and you're going to take what punishment comes with that. Because you can't get physical. You can't do that. And my son or not, you can't have a person out and about who's capable of doing that. You need to be punished for your actions. There needs to be consequences for your actions. Tough love, whatever you want to call it. But I have an issue with these parents covering up for their son, no matter what it is. If it was an accident, are they believing he didn't do it at all? Why do you help him run if you think he's innocent? I couldn't do that. Couldn't do that. So I do fault this family because how long was Gabby laying out there that nobody's saying anything? That he's able to return home with her vehicle without her, and you're not questioning anything? You you don't care to see, because if you think he didn't do it, or if he's giving you some story like we got into a fight and she walked away and I can't find her, why aren't you then having the police looking for her at that time? Why the cover up? So that's the difference between lawyering up and covering a crime. So I know I've seen this on in our MAM gossip group, I believe is where it was posted, that somebody is upset with people assuming that Brian killed her because they said, aren't you doing the same thing like is done to Stephen Avery and such? Well, for me, at least the evidence that's out there right now all points to the boyfriend. But by you covering it up and running, you're not helping your case at all. So it's pointing more fingers at you. So he and his family are still at fault right now at this point. All right, back to the timeline. September 15, a person of interest. Northport police say that Laundrie is refusing to cooperate and name him as a person of interest in Petito's disappearance. September 16, a plea for help. Northport police hold a press conference. Gabby's father asks everyone to help find his daughter. September 17, where is Brian? Laundrie's parents tell police they have not seen Brian in 3 days. Protesters gather outside the Laundrie house. September 18, the search for Brian. The search for Laundrie begins in the 24,000-acre Carlton Reserve in Sarasota, Florida. His parents say that was where he was headed the last time they saw him. I don't know if that will be in this timeline or not, but isn't there something about the parents drove him somewhere? And so it is assumed they drove him across Florida, getting him as close to Mexico. So the parents are aiding and abetting him, hiding from police. And I'm going to guess then this 24,000-acre Carlton Reserve that they've been searching that has swamp or whatever, if the parents are telling you anything about that place, then he's absolutely not there. Because they're showing that they're lying and they're covering for their son. So I wouldn't think for a second he would be there then if the parents gave the name of that place. September 19, remains found. Authorities say they found remains near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, where the van was previously spotted. September 20, FBI raid. Police execute a search warrant on Laundrie's home, seizing his car and a hard drive that may contain evidence that a felony has been committed. September 21, Gabby is identified. A coroner confirms that the remains found in Wyoming is Gabby Petito and determined the initial manner of death is homicide. The FBI announced they are taking over the criminal investigation, and authorities continue to search for Laundrie in the Carlton Reserve, which I think is just a waste of time. September 23, arrest warrant issued. A federal court in Wyoming issues an arrest warrant for Brian Laundrie. He's charged with unauthorized use of a debit card to make unauthorized withdrawals worth more than $1,000 during the time Petito went missing. September 24, a vigil for Gabby. A candlelight vigil is held for Petito in her hometown of Blue Point, New York. September 25, helping others. Petito's father announces the creation of the Gabby Petito Foundation to help people in similar situations as Gabby and provide resources and guidance for parents searching for missing children. September 26th, and what is today's date? 28th. Saying goodbye. Over 1,000 people attend a public memorial service for Petito at a Long Island, New York funeral home. The service was also streamed online. So, another thing I wanted to talk about in this case is you. Making a murderer has really changed everything. Because it's people like you who hear about a case and then you go down that rabbit hole and are searching for all the information you can on the case. So due to these cases going out there on social media, the interweb, wherever, that's how they were able to find her body, is because of somebody else who saw the case, who is doing their own van life thing. They were able to see in the video that they're filming of their travels that they had passed that van. And she also noticed it because it had Florida plates, and she's from Florida. And her and it's, I don't know if it's her husband, her partner, they were gonna stop and talk to them, because they're van life, we're van life, they're Florida, we're Florida, we're gonna, chat with them, but then didn't see anybody in the van, and they're like, okay, they must be off hiking or whatever. So it is thanks to somebody who saw it online that then they were able to reach out to the FBI and provide them with video that they saw this van. And then in searching in that area, that's how Gabby was found. It's not thanks to Brian Laundrie or his family. They didn't help recover Gabby so she could go home and her family could get some kind of closure. It's because of people like you who see this case and care. And it's also because of this case being out there that there are two different people who claimed they picked him up hitchhiking, which people don't pick up hitchhikers. I'm like, not one, but two different people allegedly picked him up, and I don't know how credible that is, if both of those people did pick him up or not. But I'm just like, oh my God, people are still giving hitchhikers a ride. Don't do that. Cops want to talk to you? Lawyer up. You see somebody on the side of the road? I'll call you some help. Don't pick somebody up. Oh my gosh, that's like scary. Cindy's asking, was the van found? The guy drove it home. The police have it, which now probably well, I guess it's different because it's the police have it, so that's the state. I was going to say, like, Kathleen Zellner can't get the RAV4, but it's in the custody of the police. So yeah, he drove Gabby's van home. So another thing to go, why isn't that some warning flags for his parents? This is Gabby's van that she paid for. He comes home, there's no Gabby. And Gabby had lived with them. So Gabby lived with Brian's parents. So they're supposed to care about this girl. So he comes home with her vehicle, and you're not wondering where she is? No matter what he's telling you of where she is, there should be some concern. not just trying to cover up for him. Now they say that this guy is like an expert on survival. That um he could survive out there on his own, so he could be anywhere. Cindy's saying, so why would he be hitchhiking? Because this was like the day that he did away with Gabby and put her somewhere. He was being taken back to the van or near it. Because according to the people who picked him up, he wouldn't let them drive him the whole way. So, I mean, so what was going on where that van was or in that van that he didn't want anybody to see? I don't know. There's so many questions we don't know. But the fact that the boyfriend and his family won't say anything. You know, lawyering up is that you have representation for when you're being questioned, not that you just get to refuse to talk. So if you're going to refuse to talk, then they should be taken into custody until they do. You're an accessory to a crime. There's no other way to think about it. It's now determined that Gabby is dead and that it was due to homicide. Brian was with her. It's crazy to me that his parents know whatever excuse this kid has for whatever happened. And that they're able to just not say anything. And then just say things to the press like, well, our son's missing and we hope the FBI finds him. Like they're a victim in this. And then let me comment on the whole dog, the bounty hunter thing. That guy is such a piece of crap. And has had so much ugly press for a while that he's jumping in on this to try and do something to try and turn around the public perception of him and to make him money. Um I don't know. I know it's in the press that he has found some alleged campsite that he's attributing to him. I don't know. Um but it creeps me out that dog is, because I know he's just trying to get attention and money from the case, and that I know he's not a good person. Um so it just bothers me. I don't like when people take advantage of a case for their personal gain. And Debbie, if the parents have immunity, then they have to talk. How do you just get immunity and you're not going to say that my son did XYZ or my son is claiming XYZ happened? I mean, and maybe they have said it and it just hasn't been out there for anybody to hear that yet. But I don't think that you get immunity and you don't say anything at all. So they had to have said something. Um this case is just very bothersome to me on so many points. Where this you start with that police video, and it's clear the story they're being given, and with how upset Gabby was, that they weren't getting the whole story, but the police didn't seem to care for the whole story. And also, um, that these parents are, they're accessories to a crime, in my opinion. They should be arrested. And Debbie, the thing where a spouse doesn't have to speak, that doesn't apply to your children. It is only spouse, so you do not get immunity just because it's your kid. I don't think he's innocent, Natalie. Somebody had posted that of, we're jumping to conclusions, but everything is pointing to him. Yeah, he took her van, didn't report anything, and then he was pulling money used out of her account. Debbie, Florida has a law that parents don't have to speak. I wouldn't be surprised if that were true, but that's a bunch of bull smurf. Um, mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm sorry. I, I, I know my son would never watch this, but I'm sure he wouldn't be surprised to hear that I'm not hiding him or covering for him if he killed somebody. Yeah, he was so shady in that video. Let's see. Let me get it. Gabby video. Let me see.
An urgent message to anyone with type 2
Get off
diabetes or
here. I hate
pre-diabetes.
ads.
This discovery could save your life. I'm gonna go ahead and close your door. How much more beer? SO229. I have the female that was in the passenger seat separated from the male. Keys are on the hood. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just some days I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up back of him before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him. I guess my vibe is like I am like in a bad mood. And I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an organic juice bar, but I just quit my job.
Okay.
I was a nutritionist. That's my
That's
job.
cool.
And I just quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog.
Okay.
Have a blog and stuff. So I've been building my website.
Baby, let's go ahead and get you to step out of the vehicle, alrighty? Come on over here. You're not in any trouble right now. So, tell me what's going on.
The shoes gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her, so like I locked the car and I walked away from her. What happened this morning is that she's trying to start up like her own little website blog and everything, so I give her time. And we really had a nice morning and everything, but she just got worked up as we were trying to get going and get our day going because we want to go like arches for this stuff.
You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had her cell phone in her hand, that's why I was pushing her away, is because she wanted to, I locked the keys so I could walk away. I said, let's just take a breather and let's not go anywhere. Let's just calm down for a minute because she was getting a little worked up. And then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys from me, so I got in the way. I know I shouldn't push, but I was just trying to push her away to said, "Well, let's just take a minute, step back, and breathe." And she got me for a phone.
Can I see your hand? Oh, you got a mark right here.
Oh, that's from a wire.
That's on a wire?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about hitting that curb?
Hitting the curb was her grabbing the wheel.
Did she grab the wheel?
Yeah. She said, "I can't believe we're getting pulled over," and then she drove it.
What about the speed? Did she take over the...
No, I
the
started,
pedal on you?
if I was going fast, I'm sorry. No, it's probably just the moment of, like, I'm still shaking now. The adrenaline, seeing the lights flashing up, and then her gripping the wheel. So if I sped up, I'm sorry about that. Or if I was speeding beforehand, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it took quite a bit to catch up to you. So,
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We're just going into the park again to get water because we have a 6-gallon water container to fill up, so we're just getting water to fill a hike. Okay. And I was trying to keep everything calm and quiet because there's plans still to go for a hike, but it's good. I'm really sorry about that.
of course. Do me a favor. Do you want to go ahead and just take a seat right over here on the curb for me?
And if I was speeding, I'm sorry. I apologize.
You don't have anything.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
You wouldn't happen to have any water, would you? Can I get a bottle?
Oh, okay. It's like a little bit in there. I suppose fingernails, but I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about
Is it
fingernails.
bruised or tender or anything like
No,
that?
no, no. I'm fine. I look at you. I hope she doesn't have too many complaints about me. I just, I feel bad that I can get so public. I was just trying to do
I hope she doesn't have too many complaints about me.
Try to make her calm down and be like, look, everyone's watching. Stop this.
Thank you. I got a quick question for you, Ryan. Do you take any medications or anything like that?
Now protecting him and censoring the medications.
You don't take any medications or anything like that? Okay. Are you normally just kind of like hyper?
Do I see my heart rate up whenever the lights flash on, it gets your heart rate up. If I see my
Trust me, it does me too, and I'm the one that it gets me going a
you
little
probably
bit
can
too.
say, hey buddy, whenever somebody walks up.
So,
Oh, they're just buddies. They're bonding.
yeah, do you know if she takes anything?
She's crazy.
Did they look over her to see if there was any
No,
injuries?
not that I know of.
Real fast, can I get your first name? Gabrielle, how do you spell that? And your last name? B-E-T? Oh, P. I see. You guys both live
Okay, they did, Debbie. That's good.
Well, that's where you guys have it.
Florida right now, but I'm
So that's where you have it out of currently. That's like 1509. I need a 29 right now with date of birth. First name Gabrielle. Golf. Alpha. Bravo. Romeo. India.
Listen to good job.
You're gonna be going through this?
We'll get good in the way afterwards.
Did you know that the average adult
get
has
off of
5 to
here,
20
Ad.
pounds of toxic poop in their body at any given moment? Seems crazy.
But no, it wasn't too bad at all.
Reported it. You want me to tell you what he said? Real quick. Do you mind hanging with him for a minute? No. So, he said that he never saw the male strike the female. He saw the male trying to lock her out of the vehicle. She even told us that he was trying to lock her out, told her to go take a walk. So that she was trying to get in. She eventually couldn't get in and actually clawed her way in through the driver's door. He said, I don't understand why she's doing that. Well, I think it's because it was the only door that wasn't locked that she could get through. She's trying to get in over him. He's trying to disengage from her. I guess he hung her backpack on the back probably so she'd have her shit. So he he didn't have to engage with her. Everything she's saying is the same thing. I haven't heard what he said, but if that's what he said, it's also what the witness is saying. The witness says, I never saw him hit her. I saw him shove her, but I couldn't tell if it was an aggression against her or a defense against her, as far as her, being the aggressor. So at this point, unless the guy's screaming that he needs to go to jail and did something to this girl, it sounds to me like she is the primary aggressor.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with her being the primary aggressor is in incidents of domestic assault, be it a male or be it a female, we shall arrest. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they have to go to jail. We can do a citation if it meets one of three criteria, which one of them is that we can ensure that they're not going to further risk each other's safety. But the problem with that is they live in the same vehicle.
That's what I was going to say. The other part of it is
there is actually an
getting,
injury to the victim, which is him.
right, and I'm getting conflicting stories about why they hit the curb up here.
What did he say why he hit the curb?
Well, I've watched. This is what I saw first. Saw him cross the double yellow. I was doing 42 miles an hour. I don't know, probably 2 car lengths behind him, tapping my wheels at him, trying to get his attention. They knew I was behind him. And then after he crossed the double yellow, merged over into the right lane, and then out of nowhere, just boom, and hit the curb.
So did he tell you why?
He said that she grabbed the wheel and turned it real hard. She said that she was hitting him in the arm. So,
Sounds legit. I mean, I'm sure if I'm driving and my arm's on the wheel and I'm getting hit in the arm, I'm probably pulling out the wheel.
yeah.
And I'm sure it was a little of both, and usually the truth is somewhere in between. He's probably trying not to say that he hit her because he probably doesn't want her charged with assault.
Yeah.
Domestic assault. He probably would rather say she pulled the wheel than hit him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, fortunately,
So now they're
for her,
assuming she was hitting him while he was driving.
cannot treat just because he's bigger and stronger, even if he's not one of the best charges. We can't treat this differently than if it was a male on female violence, and we're going to have to charge her. And we can do a citation if there's some arrangement that can be made to separate them, and then we have to let them know that there's no contact order in effect. And then we have to let him know the only way to drop it is to go into the police
I don't know about the
department.
autopsy report, Snooze. I will assume
What's today? Thursday?
cause of death would be released. I will assume.
I know, they're telling me, I think. Which I'm sure he's going to want to drop it.
Well, the other part of it is they said that they've been on 4 or 5 months that they've been living out of this van together.
Well, this is really bad news, so let's talk to him first. Ryan?
Yeah.
Did you ask me to take pictures of him?
No, I haven't done any of that yet.
Ryan, unfortunately in the state of Utah, we don't have discretion on some things. Like, for example, if I pull you over for speeding and I want to give you a warning, I can do that because it's under Class A, it's a Class B or under. If I want to give you warnings for all kinds of stuff, I can. But there's a few things I can't. Like when I say hi, please, I'm not trying to for you. One of the things that the state legislature doesn't give us discretion on is charges when it comes to domestic assault. And it sounds like you guys are living together, so you meet the statute for domestic partners. And you do have injury, and both an independent witness, probably the next one we're going to talk to as well, which we haven't talked to yet, but the one we did talk to, and your own companion have made it clear that she was the primary aggressor. That she was
That's not what I heard from that 911 call saying she was the primary aggressor.
striking her. The witness did not see you strike her. So at this point, you're the victim of domestic assault. And even if you didn't want to pursue this, we don't have a choice.
And he's laughing because he knows he's getting away with it.
The lawsuit we have to charge her doesn't say we have to put her in jail. Okay? But it also says we have to separate, we have no contact order, and we have to put her in jail if we cannot separate. And the little problem here is you guys live on Florida, live in the van together. How are we supposed to separate them? Now, I don't want to take this small 20, what is she? 22-year-old blonde hair, jail. You could definitely defend yourself against, but at the same time, we can't say because you're a male and she's a female, we can't treat this different than if you were the male hitting her. We got to treat it the same. So she's kind of in a tough spot. So unless you have an idea about how she could not go to jail and be separated, you have friends in town, somewhere she could stay. Tomorrow, if you want to, it's up to you. You can go to jail. You can't because we don't have a charge for you. Now tomorrow, if you wanted to, you can get with her again tomorrow.
Take your video.
If you wanted to be with her again tomorrow,
He's laughing about everything.
go to the police department, fill out a waiver, date online. She would have to show her court date online. The answer, the prosecutor might stop it. She might say, for example, if you're not willing to pursue it, that's your decision. I was going to say, it definitely is. I'm not going to pursue anything. She's not going to say, I love her. So much problem. I'm sorry that I had to get so public. But so I just want to give like the checklist of things we got to do to get rid of this. So you know what about it? Well, she'll get a paper with the court date. I don't get rid of it. Well, the court date has to be attended in order for them to decide whether they need to continue or drop it. First, it's just an initial appearance to say, are you who we think you are? Yes. First, do you understand the charges that are brought against you? Yes or no? Yes or no, the answer. Do you have an attorney? Yes or no, do you need one? And then from there, she can ask to speak to the prosecutor. The prosecutor might be contacting you and say, hey man, no, I'm down. But she won't. I don't think CK will take it if she's the aggressor. No. There's a women's shelter. I'm curious. You can find out. Say she'll know where to go. If you did the citation, like say she drove off in this, you drive off in this car, we could give you a ride somewhere. So I got my backpack. That's for you. I got my backpack. You can spend the night. You want to drive me to Delicate Art? Does she have a good driver's license? She's going to get you a driver's license, yeah. Something with your vehicle? Yeah, she can have it. Well, then you're trying to be homeless for the night. And I mean, I can't talk to her at all. Well, and I've got to do the thing, so I can't go camping. We can tell her what it is that she needs to do to get through all this and then let her know what your plan is.
Here's the problem, though. If we take you up to Delicate Arch, you're going to be hoofing it from Delicate Arch all the way down to Moab Center Street so that you can go out.
I just keep, because this thing's over an hour long, so I'm just jumping around a little bit to check some of it out.
I don't have anyone saying he actually punched you aggressively. It sounds like he was shoving in a manner that was probably more consistent with trying to get away from the man or to get space from you, not to slap the face. So, if the tables were turned and he was beating on you and you were shoving him, of course we're going to look at it like, oh, of course he's defending himself away from this guy. So we're kind of looking at the same way as him. We have to take both very much more bigger than the small female. The law doesn't say, hey, Officer Pratt, Officer Robbins, you can treat the people different based on the gender of the decision you have. Because it makes no sense. You probably could not control this man.
Giving excuses.
Of course. Because otherwise it's going to be your say, her say, my say, and the court's going, so I have to do this part of it, alright? So it's just going to be a couple of
Yeah,
Without Delacorte, where
yeah,
is it?
just kind of go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and tell me if you don't mind me crossing out.
you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting?
If you wear glasses
Another
or
ad.
contacts, you must see this. An award-winning doctor reveals an astonishing...
Snooze, I'm not sure what extradition practices are. I know people get found in Mexico all the time and sent back here. But I don't know what you have to go through to do that.
Right.
Gabby, this is a very, very important question. How you answer this question is going to determine what happens next. But the only person who can answer this question is you. Think very hard before you answer the question. Do not quickly answer. Think very hard. When you slapped him those times, were you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting to do to him? What were you attempting to do? What was the reason behind the slapping and stuff? What was it you were attempting to accomplish
Why slap me?
I was trying to get him to stop telling me something.
Well, it doesn't sound to me like she attempted to enter it. It's your call. This is 100% your call. I support you either way. I'll let you get back to your parents, okay?
Oh, Jesus.
She openly admitted to me earlier that she was striking him in the eye. Or he said that she was striking him in the eye. He said she was, and that's what caused him to hit the code. She said that she got hurt. I might have this too much.
No, she said that too, that she started just distracting him by hitting him, and then he probably looked at her, and that's why the mark found the window sign. And she said it was her fault that he swerved, and she was distracting him by hitting him. But she said she didn't try to hurt him, it wasn't malicious, she thought that he wasn't listening to her.
So I was thinking as a punchline right there. This is me. I know my man is hair.
You said that this is still your mailing. Alright, there we are. Can I get your phone number?
It should just be in Zion.
Okay, do you have any problems with me taking a picture of it? I have to have IDs and stuff like that for my investigation. Here. So, this is what I'm going to do. I've decided I am not going to cite you for domestic violence battery, okay? It was only going to be a
My hero.
Class B misdemeanor. However, the domestic violence portion of it enhances it. Makes life a major pain in the butt, especially you're 22, right? So I'm choosing not to cite you today. So you are not going to be charged with it. Alright? But this is what I do have to do. I am separating the two of you tonight. Okay? I want you guys both to be tonight away from each other, relax, breathe. There's no reason to be crying now, okay? This is... I understand that this can feel like it's a nightmare, but you're coming out as the golden flower on top of it, okay? So, you're going to be taking...
Yeah, she sure came out of that as a golden flower on top of it all, didn't she?
I am going to get him lined up with a hotel room tonight. I want you guys to stay away from each other. For both of you guys to see. From what you told me and what he told me, you guys have a bunch of little things that are building up, and finally the little string that you guys were tight walking on broke tonight. Does that sound about right? So, I just want everybody to breathe, get a chance away from each other, go eat a meal, talk to your parents, whatever it is you gotta do.
You here?
I'll be as bad about that too. Okay, I'll make sure that he has a phone charger. Okay? And if I have anything else, please keep your cell phone on so I can call you if I have any questions. Alright? Alright, so just kind of sit tight for me real fast. I'm not going to try to worry. Alright, Brian, a couple things. Couple things. One, I got your hotel room tonight.
Thank you. It's going on outside. So I like the outside.
Number two, and this is probably the biggest one. She claims that she did not have intent to hurt you when she was slapping at you. So technically speaking, it does not fit the letter of the code. So I am not going to be charging her with DV. Exactly. So this is what I am going to do, however. I'm not going to release you guys together. I want you guys to stay away from each other tonight. Okay? She's agreed to it. Take some time to yourselves. You guys both have the exact same story as to what led up to the incident. So, taking some time tonight, specifically, taking tonight away from each other is going to be the major breaker in all of this. I think that'll help you guys, especially tomorrow when you guys meet up. So she does have a couple of messages for you. One, she said she loves you. She's looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Two, don't forget a cell phone charger.
Yeah, good. He watched me fumble around the entire 2 laps around the car to find one.
Yeah, find one? Find one. Okay. The other thing is I don't want you guys to contact each other.
No,
Okay,
when
unless world
he said that she gonna text me or whatever, I was gonna send her a message that said, please don't message me. But yeah,
But tonight,
don't do anything. Yeah. I don't think
she's passing on her love and saying goodnight and stuff like that, all that and stuff that I do to my wife too, okay? So
like you should have come to me.
just so don't just try to not contact each other unless, like I said, earth shattering, something happens, you guys have to jump in the car right now and drive back to Florida because something happened with parents, that kind of circumstance. Yeah, exactly. Other than that, just have a meal by yourself, catch your breath, get in a hotel room, watch some TV. It's probably been a few months since you actually got to sit down and relax in some air conditioning and watch TV. So take some time for yourself. Yeah, take a shower, man. You gotta change your clothes, you got some Tonys in there, right? Alright, good. Because they're gonna have everything that you need to ship and all that good stuff. Alright? Our main concern is make sure they get self-control so you guys can go on. Okay?
I really appreciate it.
I am going to walk her over here to the car. Okay? And if you'll just go stand over here in front of his pickup real quick, we'll get her out of here and I'll be right over here. Alrighty? You give him my key. Absolutely. Alrighty, Gabrielle, you want to step out for me? As you can see, I have keys in my hand, which is good, okay? So, something that I do, that I emphasize to him, and I don't know if I emphasize to you or not, don't text each other tonight. He wants to pass on the same message you passed to him. Really looking forward to talking to you again, but I told him and you, unless there's earth-shattering emergency news, don't text tonight, okay? Even with the good nights, I love you. He's saying good night now. He's saying he loves you now, and you guys can talk tomorrow morning, okay? He's gonna go to the hotel. I'm gonna give you the keys to the van, and then we'll go home. Alrighty? So, here's that. I'm giving him a ride over to the hotel, okay? So, everything's gonna be okay.
Will it be a far drive for me to get him in the morning? I'm just curious.
I'm not going to tell you where he's going to be at tonight.
I
Like I said, I want you guys to be separated. But I can tell you this.
I just don't usually drive the van, so I just want to make sure it's not like far.
No. It's
Okay.
it's basically from here to Moonflower. Okay? It's not far at all. So, let's get you in the van. Let's get you on your way. Alrighty? You want that Gatorade, by the way?
Okay.
You got enough water? Also, something I want you to know. Here, stand over here real fast for me. If you go over to City Market, they have a list of places where you can get yourself a shower for like $4 or $5, something like that. It's pretty cheap. A place where you can shower, decompress, de-stress a little bit. Alrighty.
Yeah, I just showered yesterday at one of those.
Well, you didn't have today happen yesterday, so it does my wife wonders. When she gets stressed out, it's like, get in the shower. Just get in the shower.
Really relaxing.
Go take a shower, relax, take some time for yourself, and like I said, don't text each other tonight. Text each other tomorrow morning after your eyes open up and you're fully awake at your morning routine, okay? You have a good night, okay? My door's open, just climb in the back seat for me. Yeah, you can put your backpack back there too.
Sorry about that approach. I don't know what the hell I was doing.
Didn't already know. She did want to pass on her good nights and loves yous and stuff like that, okay? And she understands that I didn't tell her where you're staying because like I said, I'm trying to keep you guys away from each other for tonight. Say that again?
Where did you say I was going?
I just told her that you were going to a hotel. Okay? So, like I said, it's my request, not legally obligated to hold to it, but I want you guys to take some time away from each other because it will make a world of difference. Oh, you're not in any trouble? You got handcuffs on? I didn't tell you that I'm taking you to the jail. No, I told you I'm taking you to the hotel. So, like I said, my main concern, I told her to go take a shower like I told you to, because she seems a lot like my wife. And things that really works for my wife is when she gets stressed out to go take a long hot shower. So I gave her a place to go where she can get a hotel room, or not a hotel room, but get a shower tonight for like $4 or $5, really cheap. So, no problem.
My hero.
Well, I've got quite a few. Like I said, my wife has really, really bad anxiety, and she takes medication for it daily. And sometimes it's just not enough. Sometimes it builds up and it happens. I mean, well, I will say this. When my wife got put on the medication, within a week, I saw a complete turnaround in her attitude, her demeanor. I mean, she wasn't nearly as aggressive or angry or anything like that. It was a considerable difference in her day-to-day life. It made her quality of life better even. You know what I mean? And it's made my quality of life a lot better too, because I don't have her being as stressed. I know that 5.5 years of marriage, I know it's not very long, but at the same time, you learn a lot in the first 5 years. How long you guys been together?
I would say, well, we've known each other since the start of high school. But in a relationship, we've been 3.
Wow.
A little while. So definitely the 5 months of travel together. But we've been green, but we're also like right on top of each other.
I used to drive a truck.
What's that?
I used to be a commercial motor vehicle driver, you know, the big trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And I took my wife with me, and we would easily spend a couple months on end without going home or anything like that, being cooped up in a little 8x8 cage.
I can't take any more of the bonding session here. And as somebody who also has anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and I am on medication daily for it, I am just really bothered by everything going on right there. So much wrong with how these cops handled this situation. They are not trained. They are not schooled, however you want to word it, in dealing with panic, anxiety disorder, or domestic abuse, or somebody's mental state being involved in either of them. Being somebody who lives with somebody with a disorder isn't the same thing as a person who has the disorder. And is anything said that has anything been said that Gabby is medicated, or are they just assuming it's a hysterical female? Because how dare she be upset that he's locking her out of her own vehicle when she's how far away from home that if he's set to just take the vehicle, she's stranded. So you don't have to be somebody with a mental illness, suffer from anxiety, panic, disorder, to get a little freaked out that somebody is possibly going to abandon you in the middle of nowhere. But that's okay. She's just a hysterical female that hurt the poor boy. Oh, going against HIPAA. Interesting, Debbie. So, Yeah, I wanted to get on and talk a little bit about this case because there was so much that I learned on it from watching that 48 hours episode this weekend. So there was a lot I wanted to say on it, and I didn't want to just type it up. I wanted to be able to just say whatever it is. I'm going to continue following this case. So possibly be doing another live to talk about future developments. Agree, Bryce. Wrongful conviction day is this Saturday. So, I know this isn't a wrongful conviction case, but Gabby is somebody that you could also think about on Saturday when you're making your signs and thinking about people like Stephen Avery, Brendan Dassey, Melissa Kaluzinski. Gabby is a victim. And let's see now what comes out more on this relationship. If they had been together for 3 years and known each other since high school. Because this little van trip isn't going to be the first time that there was some trouble in paradise, I'm sure. So I'm going to go. When there is a development in the case, like I said, we'll go live again. Next time I'm scheduled to go live is here on Monday at 10 a.m. is Melissa Kaluzinski's 35th birthday. Melissa has been in prison now since she was 22 for a murder she did not commit. We will be going live at 10 a.m. Central Time on Monday because there's the possibility of Melissa calling me while we are live, and I'll put her on speaker, and you guys will be able to ask her questions or say happy birthday to her. Can't ask her questions about her case. She can't talk about her case, but you can possibly talk to her generally. And she told me that she may be able to get the phone around 10:30 a.m. that day. That's why we're going to be doing the live on her birthday early. So when I start at 10, I will talk about Melissa's case. Leading up to Melissa's case, you can Google. There are 2 48 hours episodes on Melissa's case that are available on YouTube somewhere. I know we've posted the links before. One is called Blaming Melissa, and then an update is called The Fight for Melissa. So you could watch those 2 things to see her case. You could also go to KathleenTZellner.com and go to her Melissa Kaluzinski page. She has on there the last time we had a hearing for Melissa. They filmed it, so you can watch that entire hearing if you would like and see Kathleen Zellner in action. And then on Monday, you can ask me whatever questions you want about the case. I can talk about Melissa's case. Melissa cannot. And there are obviously some things about the case that I won't talk about. Anything, because there is stuff that's not out there. So that will be Monday, 10 a.m. Central. It's almost 2:30 p.m. Central Time right now. And it will be here on Justice with Jax. Oh my God. Interviews Dog the Bounty Hunter. Gross. I would interview. Well, actually, I would enjoy interviewing Kratz. Because I'd really love to rip into that guy. So, all right. Saturday, wrongful conviction day. Make a sign of the people you're thinking of that are wrongfully convicted and take a picture of it and get it posted up on social media to just make more people aware of October 2nd is wrongful conviction day. And Monday the 4th, Melissa Kaluzinski's 35th birthday. So, all right. I'm kind of agitated right now. So sorry, I'm a little, but all right. Thank you everybody for joining me. Keep posting here. We've got the Justice with Jax. There's the public page, and then there's also the closed group. So feel free in the Justice with Jax closed group page that you post anything you find out about this case or any case, because that's what Justice with Jax is about. It doesn't have to be wrongful convictions. It is just we want justice on so many different things. So any case that you want people to know about, and see if you can get people involved in those other cases as well. Debbie. All right, I'm out. Thank you all, everybody. We will talk on Monday, if not before.